Okay, recording. Thank you for reminding me. So I just opened Module 7 a few minutes ago because honestly I just was dealing with glitter earlier today and didn't get it open. I have no other reason than that. I can't tell you a lie. So, but you will see in the last module that there's directions there for your case study. Excuse me, yes, your case study presentation, and there are is the outline for how your presentation needs to go is in there, and I've also put a template in there so things will make sense for you. There's also directions in there on what you need to do to record your case study and when that recording is going to be due. So essentially what's going to happen is we're doing basically a recorded webinar that's not live. So you're going to be with your group creating your recorded, you can use Zoom or you can use any other app that your group prefers to use. And you need to send me the link, and then you will, and I posted there, I think it's December 17th is what I said, or the 16th is the date for sending me the link. And then Chuck and I have decided we're going to open a new module called Module 8, and Module 8 is going to be there just to house the recorded Zoom session so that you don't have to dig around and look for them. Because you do need to watch each other's research presentations, just like you would do if you were at a research conference. You'd go to sessions and watch research presentations. And there is going to be a discussion board in Module 8. But the discussion board is really going to be for Chuck and I to see what you've learned and gleaned from each of the research presentations, and there'll be a prompt in there so you know what to look for and what to respond to as you're watching them. But you do not need to respond to each other on that discussion board. That is just going to be for Chuck and I to be getting what pearls of wisdom you gained from each other and listening to your reading your thoughts. So I'm going to say again, Module 7 just opened, and in Module 7 is the outline for the research presentation. You're going to be expected to get on Zoom all together with your group and record, or another app that you prefer to use, and record your research presentation, 15 minutes maximum. And then by, I believe either I wrote down the 16th or the 17th, my memory's failing me, you'll send me the link and I'll post it into Module 8 so that everyone can find it easily. So any questions about that, just that part right there with the expectations around the research presentation? We're good? Okay. So I'm going to say one more time about Module 8. The case study research presentations will be in Module 8, and you need to watch each other's and post onto discussion board by December 24th. That's the last date class when everything is due. So, and you're not responding to each other on that discussion board, you're just posting your own things for Chuck and I to read it, to see what you glean. And there'll be a prompt in there so you know what to look for and listen for as you're watching each other's presentations. So that's that. The other thing to note is for the final case study research paper, only one person from the group needs to upload it on the link, because we know that who is it, I mean, obviously, because you're going to be putting all your names in your research paper, we'll just go in and grade each one of you, but you don't need to each individually upload it. It's much easier if just the one person acts as group leader and uploads it so that we only have one of those papers uploaded on the due date. So while all of you see the due date for that paper, only one person from your group is going to upload.
And that's one of the features of Canvas that we can do now. We couldn't do it in Blackboard. So
yeah, which is really nice. So does that make sense? Yes? Okay. You want to say anything, Chuck, about this last part here?
7 and 8? No, I wanted to remind people that the journal was due last night. We didn't get many of them yet.
Okay. Yeah.
So
journal is due, and there's no new learning going on in Module 7. Module 7 is there just for you to organize the work that you're doing to finish class out.
So I have a question about the journal.
Mhm.
So in the original instructions on the journal, it said to send you the Google Doc link, which is what I did. But when I went in there today, there's a submission for it. So then I resubmitted it to that as well. But I sent you the Google Doc link over Thanksgiving break.
Yeah, okay. So the Google Doc link, just make sure you've shared it with both of us.
I did.
Yeah, the piece is in there for us just to be able to put a grade in. And I didn't write in the directions, send it in as a Google Doc link in there in the grade book because I thought that, my mistake, I just knew it was already, the directions were like that already in the module.
Okay, just in the future, if you do that so people don't get confused, you can put on there no submission too.
Ah.
So because you can choose the kind of submission that you want. So if you don't want people, like if you just want to create an assignment so you have the grade column, then that way people, because I kind of freaked out.
Okay, so I can go change that.
I have a question about that too. I submitted mine via Canvas on as a collaboration. Would you have gotten notification that way too? Because I got a notification that I submitted it or via collaboration. But does that mean should I go into the assignment and upload it too, or send you the link?
Is this Jennifer talking?
Yeah. Sorry.
Let me just check and see. I can see if we got it. I'm on the page. And Teresa, we got yours.
Okay.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to go in there and upload it.
Well, we didn't. It didn't show up.
It didn't show up.
Being uploaded.
Okay. Okay. I can email you the link too. But I went into collaborations on Canvas and then shared it with both of you. But I'll send you the link as well.
Okay. Yeah, just send us the link.
This is Phyllis talking, and I just shared my Google Doc with you. I did not submit it or provide a link. So
Phyllis,
I got that.
We got yours, and it's been graded.
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So any other questions about that? And that's, again, like I told you, I'm learning all the ins and outs of Canvas. So I didn't even know I could put in an assignment without putting a submission in there. So now I learned something tonight. It seems like every time I learn a little bit more. So I can go in and fix that so nobody else panics about it.
Were we supposed to get a confirmation once we had sent it via email? Because I didn't hear back, so I wasn't sure.
Once it's graded, you'll get a confirmation.
Okay.
They're not all graded yet.
Was that Ray asking?
Yeah, that was Ray.
Yeah, Ray, we did.
I think I've seen Ray's.
Have you seen Ray's? I did not see it. So.
Okay, I've seen it. So I'll double check my shared folders.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah. Ray, if I don't have it in there, I'll email you, but I'm certain I saw it. Okay. Any other questions? So for the, because last week everyone asked me to make sure and put in an assignment for the activities you're doing from the modules that each of you created for each other, like with shared vision, mental models, team learning. So I just called it team learning activities. I'll go in tonight and change it to show no submission due so that nobody gets confused. But if you see that in the gradebook and you're wondering what that is, that's just a spot for us to give you credit for responding to each other's activities in module 5 and module 6. Okay? And I will fix it because like I said earlier, I didn't know I could do no submission needed, and I'll change that as soon as we're offline.
And I've never been able to get into the group that did the Kahoot. I can't get into their Kahoot.
Anybody online do the Kahoot?
Yeah, I could get into it, but I couldn't actually make the quiz work because it says waiting for someone else to join.
So if it helps, what you will need to do is download the app to your phone and use the PIN number that Gina put on Facebook. And what you end up doing is competing against Gina's score. So send me a text message, guys. I can walk you through it if you need it.
Okay.
Thank you, Jackie.
Yeah, mine only worked if I had the computer open and it was running the questions, and then I responded via my app. So mine only worked if I had the phone and the computer running it at the same time.
Same.
But it did work.
About the same time.
Yeah.
Huh.
Right. I think we realized after we decided to use Kahoot that you had to download the software before you didn't have to. So that was the complication, and then the PIN number was needed because of the change in the downloading.
Any other questions on 5 and 6? Have you been having fun working with each other's activities? Maybe, yes, no response.
Yes.
Like the Jeopardy, I thought it was pretty hysterical. And
I giggle every time I see the Jeopardy again.
Rex and Teresa and everybody in that group, Tracy and Jeff and Sarah, I think you were in that. I'm not sure, one other person, but it was hysterical because you guys were laughing hysterically. I thought it was pretty funny. So I really enjoyed that a lot.
Good.
Very creative.
Good. Yeah.
I like that one too. How did you build that one, Rex?
I didn't build it. I just Teresa was the one that actually put together the game.
Pinterest.
I was just the only one that was willing to be the leader of the game show.
I used to build them all the time for our tutorial centers. We would do final exam reviews, and we play with like whole classes Jeopardy. So they have different. There's ones where you can build it in PowerPoint, or this one is like an online version of the game.
Where did you find it though? I Googled it and couldn't find anything like that.
Pinterest.
Oh, Pinterest. Oh.
But I can send you the link to it.
Hey, would you? I'd appreciate that. I really liked it.
Yeah. I thought it was good.
I wanted to do a review of my course this next week. That's completing my face-to-face course, but I couldn't find it. So
it was so hard to make the Jeopardy answers because they were all like, we all wrote the same question. Because it was all like, what is personal mastery?
It's really like, it's very, because it's the opposite, you know what I mean? So I'm just like not, I find myself when I make the reviews, I have to have somebody double check them because they're like, oh, you slipped and you went the other way.
Right, yeah. It's fun. So I know Tracy's been writing all day. Who else has been writing? Yeah? Do you need help? I need to know if you need help with the writing, if you want to send me things. You can send Chuck and I both things ahead of time. You don't need to wait till the last minute to show us a draft and say, well, we need help with this, or we don't know how to word this, or how does this look?
We'd probably appreciate that after next week.
Okay.
We had a group meeting on Wednesday, I want to say, and came up with a really good timeline. I think previous to that, we were all just kind of like, whoa, okay, this is happening. But we really chatted it out on Wednesday and got a pretty good timeline, and then divvied up the sections of the lit review. And I think now that everything is much better. So we already sent out our surveys, and we have plans this week to follow up via phone call with some of the colleges that we're reaching out to.
Good.
So it's neat.
Good. That's good.
I'm having fun with it.
Good. And the thing that you need to remember too when you're working on when you're researching is sometimes you don't get back what you think you're going to get back, or you don't get back as much as you think you're going to get back, but you just write about that. That ends up being the findings that you have, is who responded or who didn't respond. And sometimes you learn things along the way, and you can discuss that also in it could end up being a limitation, and you're able to discuss that or in the analysis. Like for instance, I was working with a doctoral student on dissertation this week because she's getting ready to defend, and she had something really interesting come up, and it ended up being a limitation, but it also helped her have a lens for part of her analysis. And at first she was freaking out because she thought, I didn't get what I thought I was going to get, and now my research isn't any good. I'm like, no, you get what you get, and you move forward, and you look at it and talk about it from the things that you've learned while you've been working on this. And also this piece that this thing that happened during her research, she realized was an attitude about the administrators who were not responding and were responding, and she was able to use that as a lens for part of the analysis. So if you I don't want you to panic, like if you get in this point where, oh my gosh, we don't know what to say, we don't know what to do, you just need to reach out to one of us so we can help you work through that.
Thank you.
It's just not always perfect.
I think ours is really silly too, because we're reaching out to some colleges that maybe also have been procrastinating on this progress.
Yes.
So then they're like, oh, we do need to do that.
Yes. So that's
so I feel like it's kind of benefiting us both.
Yes. So, and that's exactly the type of thing I'm talking about. So when you realize you've reached out to someone who may or may not be able to respond the way you were wanting a response, because there's a layer of a situation happening, you can discuss that in your analysis. You can discuss that procrastination situation. And you might get on the phone with them and they'll talk to you about why it's been sluggish in the system, right? So you can add that to your notes in your discussion.
Yeah, and others are like really on top of it too. So I mean, there's sort of a a real range there of how well prepared they are for it. So.
Teresa, thank you for sending it. I got it.
Okay. So what's the best way for me to reach out to everyone to say, you can send us something? You want me just to send out an announcement to nudge you? Would that be the best way to do it? Tracy's saying yes. Any other thoughts?
That'll work out.
Okay.
I think also if they'd like to request a Zoom session with one of us or both of us, we could do that too. If you just want to talk something over.
Absolutely.
Nancy, this is Taffany. We haven't heard back from you about our IRB approval. Should we just plan to move ahead with?
Yes, it's approved. I'm so sorry. Everything got approved and I found out on Wednesday.
Okay, great.
So I thought that I had sent emails back and looped back around with everyone, but I missed 2 groups. So you're the second group I missed, because I knew I missed one other person who checked with me on Friday. So you just go ahead and move forward.
That's fabulous. And as a follow-up, I think you mentioned that all of the groups would kind of get examples from the previous cohort about their...
And you're ready for those, yes.
Yeah, am I missing? Okay.
Yes, I'll send those.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome. I can do that later tonight.
Okay, awesome.
Taking notes. Okay. Any other questions regarding research, case studies? Okay. Chuck, anything you want to add?
No.
No thoughts? Okay. Any other burning questions for the group, for us?
Can you it's Jen again, sorry. Can you said we have to record something with our group. Did you say the deadline was the 17th on that?
The deadline is the 17th. If you need more time, you just need to send me an email and say, hey, I need more time, because I'll need to send an announcement out to everyone so they know when everyone's piece is going to be loaded into Module 8. You just need to give everybody enough time to be able to watch each other's video. So I'm okay if they get loaded up there, not all exactly on the same date. But just be cognizant of the fact that everyone's trying to finish up. The other thing to remember is you don't have to have your paper completely written before you create that research presentation. This isn't your defense. This is just a class presentation, right? In your defense, you write your research presentation after your dissertation is completed. But you can do it in a different order for class. So just take your information, create your research presentation, present it, and then go back and finish your paper.
Okay.
Okay.
No, that makes sense. Thank you.
So as soon as you get results and you can put things together to present it, just do that.
Okay.
So any other questions about the deadline to upload or to send me your link to upload your research presentation? So I'm basically trying to give you a week to view each other's, but if you need more time, you need to just, let Chuck and I know what's going on. Especially if you need help, you need to get us online to help you. And then pull that research presentation together so we can have the link to upload it to give each one of you time to watch each other's. And again, remember, your paper doesn't have to be done before your research presentation is done. You will have to be clear, and you'll have to have analyzed your data to present it, but you don't have to have everything written out yet. You'll still have a week to work on that.
So what is the last day of our class?
24th.
The 24th.
24th.
Yes.
It's Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
I think technically class literally ends maybe the 23rd, but because we've been ending everything on the Sundays, I just put in the 24th as that day to get everything turned in. You can turn it in before that. Obviously, you do not have to wait until Christmas Eve to turn things in.
Yeah, I'd like to get them in before that. So when we say people might turn them in after the 17th, we're just saying 1 or 2 days, right?
1 or 2 days.
Okay.
1 or 2 days. Yeah, yes, 1 or 2 days. Because obviously if you turn it in way after that, you're not meeting the expectation, because the expectation is to give each other time to watch each other's case study presentations.
Okay. And then for the paper upload, there's no upload for the paper. Just
okay. I will check it. There is, I just checked it. I'm sitting in there, but that means that I probably wrote it wrong. So
yeah, there's a slot for it.
There's a slot. Upload. Okay. Okay. Thank you for telling me.
The final reflection paper.
Got it. I will fix that then. But you can see it, right?
Yeah, there's a place where it says due December 24th. It just there's no submit button.
Submit. Okay, I will fix that. See, I didn't even know I could do it, right? No submit button. I did something I didn't even know I knew how to do. So, great.
It does have a column in the grading book, though.
Yeah. Okay, so to recap, Module 7 opened today, and remember we're a week ahead, so Module 7 on the syllabus would open a week from today. But because we've been working a week ahead per everyone's request, it opened today. There's no new learning in that module. All that's in that module is guidelines on how to create your research presentation and what the expectations are with that part of it, okay? We've also added Module 8, and Module 8 is just going to be where the research presentations are housed once you send them, the link to me, and that's so you don't have to go and look for them in Module 7 and dig through everything. Literally, Module 8 will just have those research presentations sitting there, and there will also be a discussion board, which is basically you talking to Chuck and I about what you gleaned from the research presentations, and there will be a prompt in there for you. And it will help you watch the videos and then respond to us with just your thinking. Basically, what did you learn from each other?
So in that final week, we're going to be watching each other's presentations, responding in discussion board, and there will be a final reflection paper.
Right, but you could start the final reflection paper now if you're ready.
Okay.
Yeah. You don't have to watch each other's
videos first,
right? Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
It'd probably be better the night before it's due, though.
Well, yes, honestly. You'll have more to reflect on by then.
Right.
I want to shortchange you on that.
Right. There is also, thank you for asking that, Teresa, because there's information on that final reflection paper in Module 7 also. So you can start that. You might want to wait till you get, make sure everyone's got their journal turned in, because the idea is to build off that journal and turn it into your final reflection paper.
So will you give us feedback on our journals, or it's just based on our own?
The only feedback you will receive is if you have not followed the rubric and used words from the readings you've done and used them properly, I should say. And then if your format is not legible or readable, you'll get that kind of feedback. Otherwise, you'll get 5 points.
Mm-hmm. it's your personal growth. So we're reading the journals to learn what you're learning and what you're telling us about what you're learning. So. And
you don't get lower grade if you didn't learn as much, and you don't get greater grades if you say you learned a lot. It's just about whether you're being reflective.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's true. So. Okay, so I think if there aren't any more questions, then we are good for the week. Just remember, if your group needs help, you need to reach out. Either one of us can get onto Zoom with you, just with your group. We're also happy to read papers ahead of time to give you feedback as you're developing them. Okay, so if we're okay, then we're going to sign off. Are you good? You want to say anything else, Chuck, before we sign off?
I'm good.
Okay.
Have a good week.
All right. Have a good week, everybody. Good to see you.
Bye. Thank you.
Take care. Okay. Bye.
Okay, Glitter.
Bye. I'll post this to the announcement so they can see it. Okay.
All right.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
See you in the morning.
Okay, I will. Bye-bye.
Bye.